The sheriff says officers approached the suspect who was then holding the baby. Here's what happened. He was found with 15 guns in his car, 14 of which were loaded. When the meat is finished, this is what it looks like. This recipe hasn't been commercially produced in almost 700 years. The Columbia City Council will vote tonight on a possible program that would train veterans while they work. AT&T customers told me then they were communicating with the company, but the only response then was an offer of vouchers for lost service. FALCON. Students at Fairview Elementary aren't missing a beat. An outsider would notice nothing out of the ordinary in this classroom.
And we're going to talk about the writing assignment.
The students are following a lesson plan, reading, and listening to stories.
No idea what to wear with those crazy stripes.
Usual teacher, Mrs. Adam, is absent from class today. Bonita Guess is here in her place, a professional substitute teacher for Kelly Services. She says the job is great.
And it's so amazing whether in a school or on the street, there's a kid that goes, I remember you. You were that mean teacher. No, I was that mean teacher that kept you on track.
The system works like this. When a teacher or any school staff calls in sick, the district goes online and requests a sub from Kelly. Kelly goes through its list of qualified subs and sends someone for the service. The district pays $1.95 million this school year. Last year, hiring subs on its own one by one, the district spent about $1.65 million. The extra cost comes for the ability to fill all the vacancies every day.
As of today, we did do 100% for the month of August, and we want to continue that trend. That's our goal.
Administrators agree, saying it's the right choice for Columbia.
It's working, and the feedback we get is positive.
With the Kelly system, substitutes can be preferred by certain teachers, schools, or subject departments. That means even classes that might be more challenging to teach, like art, are going to be consistently filled with quality staff. Back in the classroom, the sub says she's happy with the new system since it puts her with the students.
Every one of them is a value, and they are our future, so that's what's exciting.
India Everett, KOMU-8 News, Columbia. Back in September, we got an email tip that cell service had been out in Harrisburg for a whole weekend. I checked into it and found out cell service had been on and off for nearly 2 months in Harrisburg. AT&T customers told me then they were communicating with the company, but the only response then was an offer of vouchers for lost service. But residents really just wanted their cell service back. They told me it was an inconvenience and a safety issue.
Last weekend we had a student who had a really bad accident, a car accident, and fortunately her phone was working at that time, but had it not been, she could have been in a bad situation. And there's also other people in the area that are elderly and rely on their phones, and it's just been very spotty whether it was going to work or not.
So I got in touch with AT&T to ask about the problem, but all I got out of the company was this statement. AT&T customers in Harrisburg may have experienced issues with the wireless service during several days in September, including Monday morning. Technicians worked to resolve each issue, and service in Harrisburg is currently running normally. We are closely monitoring the network and apologize for this inconvenience. But residents told me the next day that things were not running normally and that service had been down all night. So I set out again to try and find out just what the problem was. After continued complaints, the president of Missouri AT&T called the Harrisburg City Council to discuss the issues. On October 4th, the city clerk posted this letter around town asking AT&T customers to be patient, saying that the problem should be fixed soon. And on October 9th, I received another statement from AT&T. Due to a software issue, some wireless customers in the Harrisburg area may have experienced intermittent service issues. The issue has been resolved and service is currently running normally. We know customers count on their wireless services and we apologize for this inconvenience. But once again, that same day, a resident told me the problems were still happening. AT&T customers said they wanted the problem fixed, so I gave out the contact information that I had for AT&T, and a Harrisburg resident sent in an email demanding service. He said soon after, a technician from St. Louis and local CenturyLink technicians were coming to Harrisburg to fix the lines. 2 days later, residents said the large outages were fixed, but outages lasting a few minutes would still happen 5 to 6 times a day. Those finally ended the week of October 14th with most problems fixed. In the end, AT&T said the problem came from landlines connecting the tower in Harrisburg to CenturyLink and vendors testing equipment. Ultimately, the persistence of residents to call in a reporter to fight for them, as well as go to bat against AT&T themselves, allowed this little town to win against a giant phone company. India Everett, KOMU-8 News, Harrisburg. Humane Society employees say the winter season usually brings about a decrease in adoptions. This year, they've had to offer their lowest adoption fees yet in an attempt to place pets in homes. Executive Director Mary Pat Boatfield says while adoptions decrease, complaints of pet neglect increase in the winter.
Boone County Animal Control and the City of Columbia Animal Control will begin now to get more and more complaints regarding animals that do not have proper shelter, proper care, or food during the winter months.
She says pet owners should make an effort to ensure their pets are protected from the elements. Columbia veterinarian Wendy Forbes agrees. Here are some winter tips they shared.
For our outdoor dogs, we want to provide them with shelter, protection from the wind. It's good to have it insulated to help keep them warm. You want to have it where it's big enough for them to get in and curl around, but you don't want it too big to where they're going to lose all that body heat.
Try to keep healthy food and water available.
Experts say that during cold winter months, it's especially important to make sure that all your pets are tagged as microchipped, as well as it's a good idea for dogs that are low to the ground or have short coats to wear jackets or sweaters.
Watch out for de-icing products that could make your pet sick. And for cats,
before you start your car, tap the hood to make sure if there's any cats underneath there, they won't be injured.
Sometimes we'll see cattails that get injured from turning on the car engines.
With adoptions low, the Central Missouri Humane Society says they hope animal lovers can help other pets too if they're able to.
We certainly would like to send more animals home for the holidays.
India Everett, KOMU-8 News, Columbia. Police told me they located the girl just after midnight near the 1300 block of Valley Creek Lane near Clark Lane in Northeast Columbia. Police say the girl is 14 years old but cannot release her name because she is a minor. The search started last night near ABC Lane, just a few miles east of Valley Creek Lane. ABC Lane is where authorities originated their search Sunday night. The Boone County Fire Protection District was able to start the search near ABC Lane after they detected someone using the girl's cell phone near the search area. After gathering more information on the girl, the department began searching near Valley Creek Lane because they found out someone she knew had recently moved there.
Well, the fire department and the Columbia Police Department officers searched for the missing 14-year-old, and they found her at about 12:15 a.m. And after they found her, they took her to a local hospital for evaluation.
Police cannot say whether the girl was a runaway. A close call for a children's hospital in Wisconsin. An armed man had the hospital on lockdown after he opened fire on the 7th floor of one of the hospital's units. During that lockdown, people lingered outside.
I saw people getting up and taking cover, and I saw hospital security reacting very quickly to get people to hide. So at that point, I knew it was real. It was an actual shooter in the building.
The sheriff says officers approached the suspect who was then holding the baby. Here's what happened. They were originally there to arrest the man on a felony warrant and then found him holding a child in an intensive care unit. The suspect would not put the child down and ran away, showing a handgun. Officers then shot the suspect, who is now being treated. They have not reported any injuries. Over to New Orleans and another shooting. An ambush left a man and his 7-month-old son dead near a bridge spanning the Mississippi River. According to police, someone opened fire last night on the car. The driver then pulled over near the toll plaza where the man was pronounced dead. The baby later died at the hospital. Police have not yet named a suspect, but believe the shooter knew the man. Some people in rural North Texas woke up to a fire this morning. Officials say workers were working on a pipeline when it exploded. The explosion left some vehicles in the parking lot burned out. Several roads had to be closed off, and a school evacuated students. No injuries so far. And that's your first look around the nation.